Eubank Sr. people, before the stream started, I've been looking at any kind of commentary on this. Now, people, we got to take this thing from the start, from the back in the day, because I've actually followed Eubank Jr. from his very first pro fight. I was at the Billy Joe Saunders fight, matter of fact. I was actually there, drove down to London and everything. Now, Eubank Sr. is a larger-than-life character, people. We all know that. He's a larger-than-life character. He loves the camera. He loves the limelight. He's a showman. He's a showman. We got to give him that. But when his son went pro, he was the mouthpiece for his son. He'd walk to the ring with him. He would stand up in the corner when his son was, when the round was over, Senior used to stand up in the corner, people, and pose. He'd stand up in the corner and pose, That's how he would do it. Now, at some point throughout Eubank's career, Eubank Jr., didn't want that anymore, people. It didn't want that. And this is mad because this is father and son. This is father and son, folks. And first and foremost, I believe that this should have been them meeting in person. This should never have been online. This is so sad. Anytime you see a father and a son publicly fighting, I hate that. I hate that. I'm telling you right now, even with us reacting to this, it's sad, but we need to break down why this is happening. Stefan, he was doing too much. Xavier, big up, man. Facts, he's definitely doing too much. Now, why is Eubank so vocal against his son? Now, if you go into the comments, people, many people are in agreement with the things that Eubank Sr. is saying. Maybe many of you guys, let's get active in the chat, people. I'm on my own today. You guys, yeah, what do you think? Do you believe that what he's saying holds any weight? Because I'm going to keep it real, people. Eubank Sr. went up to cruiserweight to fight Carl Thompson. Google that right now. He went up to cruiserweight to fight Carl Thompson. Now, listen to what I'm saying, folks. This man's being a hypocrite. What this is about, people, is Eubank Jr. wanted to build his own legacy. That's what he wanted to do. And Eubank Jr. broke away from his dad and started doing his own thing. Apparently, Eubank Jr. is very difficult to work with. He's the kind of man who has his own sparring partners that he brings in. He has his own training camp. He don't really want no one there but to hold pads for him. That's the kind of boy he is. He's just like his dad. His dad was just like that. Now, his dad, yes, Senior, this is all wrong. Facts say the timing is wrong. Senior should not have come out and did this. People, I'm going to keep this thing very real. And we're going to react to this in a second. I'm just getting my thoughts out there. I'm going to keep this thing 1000% real to people. Eubank Sr. is jealous of Eubank Jr. This is nothing to do with the weight. This is nothing to do with the way they conducted themselves. This is solely down to jealousy. Eubank Jr. has got a beautiful career. What I mean by that, folks, is not in the ring, even though I think I like Eubank Jr. I love when he goes on the pads. I like that whole character thing he's built up. He understands showbiz. Whether you hate him, whether you love him, he understands showbiz. But his dad overshadowed him, man, completely. He overshadowed him in every way, shape, and form. So what happened is Junior said, no, I want my own thing going on. Senior don't like that. Junior's been able to go through his whole career, getting payday after payday after payday, all off the back of his dad's name. His dad feels entitled. When Junior cut him off, he couldn't get over that, people. He couldn't get over that. Junior cut him off, stopped him from being in that limelight. That was, people, you remember, before Junior went pro, Senior had almost became like one of those, all right, help me out here now, chat, help me out. Senior had almost became like one of those, those celebs that go on like Big Brother and like places like that. Get me out of here. I'm in the jungle. Get me out of here. The thing with Anton Deck. This is what he had become before his son went pro. When his son went pro, got the deal with Channel 5 and all of that, Eubank Sr. had a way back in, not only to boxing, but into the limelight. And he's the kind of man who would always talk for Junior. You know who else was like this, actually? Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis never could say a word in anger. Mayweather always used to cut him off all the time, people. It was really, really bad until he started to find his own character, and now you don't see Mayweather there. And that's the same with Senior. That is the exact same with Senior. He cut him off. So what you've been seeing all week, and a lot of people won't say this online, you're seeing jealousy in its purest form. That's all this is. People, I am a father to sons, and at no point would I do this to them before a big fight like this. Think about this, people. My man's almost praying that the fight don't happen. What kind of madness is that? He's almost praying that his son don't take this fight, that the fight don't go ahead. People, none of these men are in danger. Conor Benn walks around massive. He's huge. Eubank Jr. is probably about, I reckon he's probably about a 160 naturally, because he's a brother who's in shape. Look at the brother. Have you ever seen this brother not in shape? I'm saying he's probably worst case is 168, worst case. But Conor Benn is huge. Conor Benn's probably a 160 fighter. Conor Benn's probably a one. None of them men are 154. None of them are. So the facts are Conor's fighting too small and probably Eubank's fighting too big. So there's no danger in this fight. My man's just saying that as an excuse so we can get at his son. Because again, I came with facts today, people. Let's have fun. It's Easter bank holiday. I came with facts. Eubank Sr. fought Carl Thompson at cruiserweight. So if he's saying that what his son's doing is dangerous, then what he was doing is dangerous. Now let's talk about when he focuses on the egg slap and all of that stuff. People, listen, we are in a world that is based off of entertainment. In the days when Eubank Sr. was fighting, folks, there was no such thing as reality TV. There was no such thing as social media. There was none of these things. So man didn't really need to hype fights like that. But in today's world, people, we are in an era where there is so much information all around us. There is trillions of terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of information at your fingertips. We are living in a time where a man can get the answer to any question within 5 seconds. I don't think people understand how serious that is. A man has a choice in this world what he wants to watch. There's all kind of madness out here. Everything is content in today's world. Everything. So when a man like this gets on TV and says, yo, these men are putting the boxing game into disrepute. No, they are not. Because they are selling the fight. Big up EJ Boxing Live, man. That's one of the most knowledgeable guys on boxing that I personally know. EJ Boxing Live. He's actually in the boxing world. When this first happened, every now and again, me and him have phone calls. And he said to me, he said, Mark, this is all to sell the fight. These men don't hate each other. What do they hate each other for? Even the dads are cool. You know when they're like, the dads don't get on. People, the dads have done maybe 4 to 5 tours together. You know, where they go to shows and they're both sitting on stage talking about their career. This whole notion that these mans don't like each other is to sell the fight. Now, people, you do need drama to sell a fight in today's world. These boxing fans don't care about the sport like that. They don't care about the sweet science of hit and not get hit. Most of these boxing fans, they want some rock'em sock'em mans to just come forward knocking lumps out of each other. They want some Mickey Rourke, what's his name? That brother man who fought Arturo Gatti 3 times. Get his name because I want to say his name, man. that brother, the Irish brother, and they made the film about him, the fighter. Them fights are not good, people. When we was learning to box, yeah, shout out Dave, man. That's the best boxing trainer in Brum, Leon's trainer, Dave. When we was learning how to box, yeah, Dave used to say, lads, this is not about knocking bells out of each other. This is about hit and not get hit. Like this whole thing of rock'em sock'em, that is because of these casuals. Now look, these men are going to go in there and probably try and, I'm going to keep it real with you, yeah. If these men are really brethren the way they're saying that they are behind the scenes, yeah, these men are going to go in the ring and they may, in spots, they may have little dramas here and there. But people, listen, if this fight ends in any kind of cloudy decision or anything like that, they have a rematch clause. You know what that means, folks? That means that both Eubank and Conor Benn can potentially make 2 times the money. Right now, Conor Benn is not, I don't want to speak nothing over no one's life, but in my opinion, he's not gonna be a champion. He's not. Especially in the direction boxing's going. He's lost a lot of years with this whole drama. So I feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like them man might say, yo, let's get to this bread. We've seen it happen before, people. We've seen this happen before. Like, yo, let's get to this bread. Look, I still believe to this day that Canelo and Triple G had a gentleman's agreement. Because since Triple G did them fights, people, the man's whole persona changed. Now, for brothers who were heavy into boxing back then, do you remember how Triple G used to be? Then after the Canelo fight, my man's whole thing does change. He don't even box anymore. He don't even box. Once men start getting serious bread in this boxing thing, everything changes. In order for the mans to buy the pay-per-view, you have to sell the fight. This is what I say. When I go into the boxing gym, yeah, I say to these youths, although you're building yourself as a boxer, also build your personality too. Build that too, because you need that just as much as you need your skills. Because if you're going to go pro, for people to buy into your brand, you need to have entertainment, folks. You got to. Otherwise, you're going to be like a Rigando. Remember my man, Rigando? My man was one of the baddest boxers that's ever walked the face of the planet. But guess what, folks? He couldn't sell out a phone booth. He couldn't sell no tickets. You know why? Because the man didn't speak. He never spoke. If you've got people that don't back you, yeah? If you have people that don't back you, you have to do stuff like this. Meaning, unless you're like a Ricky Hatton, folks, could literally not say anything at all because he's one of the lads. He's indigenous and he's one of the lads. We don't get that, people. We don't get that. So mans have to sell the thing. I've said this time after time. You're either a BFG, like the guy in the Green Mile, or you're a bad boy, like Mayweather, Adrian Broner, all of that. That's the only way. So with Eubank Jr. doing that, it was simply to sell the fight. The dad is doing too much, folks. It's jealousy, man. And I hate to say it because it's father and son. But let me look in the chat. Sainto, big up. When you compound one son stepping away, perceived loss, with the death of another son, I ain't even gone there yet, actual loss, for a character like Senior, there's a risk of serious mental issues and ego death. It's a mess. Saint, facts. Listen, my people, yeah, were showing me a video on TikTok of Senior, like, he's like at he's at some like a Catholic church or something like that, people. And he's kind of like dancing and doing all of that. And people are laughing in that in the comments. So I says to her, I said, yo, she's like, what's wrong with him? I said, you know what, yeah? He lost the son. The brother lost the son, you know? Like that alone, people, like just think this man's gone through life with a decorated career, fame, made loads of money, traveled the world, and you lose your son. People, this is what I always say this to folks all the time, and I'm saying it now on this stream. In life, yeah, you can believe that you've got problems. So whatever you got going on now, you might owe some money on a freaking water bill. You might have some drama with your baby father, baby mother, you might have gone through a breakup, whatever it is. Always understand that take one day at a time, because that day could come where something happens where all those problems that you think were problems give you an understanding that they weren't actually problems. And I've seen this happen many a time. Even if senior people, let me show you to the level of integrity that I personally have. Even if senior phoned this platform today and said, can I get on stream with you, man? I'd say, senior, I respect you as an all-time great in this thing, especially for the UK, even though you didn't fight James Toney, but that's another story. However, bro, I feel like you need some help still. I don't want to take advantage of your pain. That's it. He shouldn't be on camera right now. He needs help. He's lost a son. People, not only did he lose a son, his son had a missus who was pregnant, folks. That's a different level of pain. That's a next level of pain. You don't even know what the man's feeling. You don't even know. So all of this playing out in public shows me that he don't have real ones around him. Because if it was my dad, I would have grabbed him and said, Daddy, we need to get you some help. Simple. Junior's focused on his career, but there's no one. This should not be playing out in front of our eyes. It shouldn't. Sorry, people. I know I'm going off. Santo, you might have to go back, you know. You might have to go back still. We're talking about Eubank. You can pull all his arguments apart. He was all over the place. I just listened to Carl Froch interview. It's fake outrage. Saying facts. I listened to that Carl Froch interview this morning, yeah. And Carl Froch, basically, you can see that Froch kind of, as the interview was going on, you can't get through to senior. That's because he's not thinking with a clear head. So you're right, it can be pulled apart. Xavier, to be fair, senior did say Carl Thompson nearly killed him in the ring. Okay, I didn't see that bit still. But the fact is he still took the fight. But these men ain't in no danger, Xavier. These men ain't in no danger. Nick Blackwell, that was the ref's fault. That was the ref's fault. I get what senior's giving examples, but I think he's wrong on this, folks. I do. Western, big up, man. Love for the knowledge. Eubank Sr. hasn't been the same since the loss of his son. People, losing a son, I'm going to tell you straight, I don't never want to feel what that feels like. A son is supposed to bury his father, not the other way around. And people, Sebastian seemed like he was switched on. The brother seemed switched on. So to see him go like that, and then when he's gone, you know, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Senior might not have spent that much time with him. We just don't know. Whatever's going on, it's killing him. It's killing him. Totally agree. Aisha, yes, he was on I'm a Celeb. Think the money was running low after 2 divorces. Yeah, man. Indigenous and that. Xavier, what they are now quarreling about is not worth damaging their relationship. Eubank Sr. is doing way too much. Big facts again, Xavier. Facts, he's doing... I don't like seeing this, man. Honestly, I don't like seeing this because these men are boxing royalty, man. They're boxing royalty, and I think, you know, when your dad, you know, when I'm similar in a way, but on a way lower scale. When your dad's somebody, yeah, you're almost in their shadow. So, you know, when I was younger, yeah, I would do everything to get out of that shadow. But it's almost like you and that person need to build a wall around yourselves and block out all the noise. And that's what these men need to do. And I just hope they do it before it's too late. Because people, if I was Junior right now, I would be hurt, you know. And it would take a long time for me to fix that with my dad. I'm keeping it real. And as we know, people, time is not promised to none of us. It's not promised to none of us out here. So we got to make the most of it. And when it comes to these, man, you've lost a son. So even if you're a stubborn brother, when people die, man, it changes things, man. Senior, Aisha, I think Senior has some mental health. Sorry, I believe that too. Saint, it seems like a weird pseudo jealousy situation. Don't like it at all. Facts. So I've missed a few comments here. Sorry. Mayweather was the example. Big up Santo. When he became the heel, he got more opportunity. Yeah, we have to talk about that, people. So look, let me show you something. Money Mayweather was the sequel to Pretty Boy Floyd. So for the people that don't follow boxing, let me show you something right now. Floyd was similar to like a Kell Brook. He wasn't too talkative. He was a little bit flashy. He had a couple rappers around him, but he wasn't too talkative. He used to do his talking in the ring because Floyd comes from a very flamboyant, loud, aggressive family. Like he comes from a very well-known family in where's Floyd from again? Is it Michigan? One of them places. He's from one of them places. But anyway, Floyd comes from a mad family. And Floyd's the kind of man who he grew up hard. As much as people see him and they think that he's just this money man. People, when he was a youth, what was it that he said? He said that his dad shot at his mom. No, his dad shot at his uncle. His uncle shot at his dad, sorry. And his dad used him as a shield. That's the kind of household he's coming from. So when he got into boxing, people, go back to Pretty Boy Floyd. When he got into boxing, yeah, it was a man that didn't really say too much outside of the ring. In the ring, he tried to do his talking. And guess what, people? The FBA didn't support him. The wider community didn't support him. And he was making money, but he wasn't a star. Guess what? When he adopted the personality of a rapper, flashy, flamboyant, Money Mayweather, gal, this, that, talking down on opponents, he became a star. So that shows you what I'm saying is fact. You are either a BFG, big up Daniel Dubois every time, but like Daniel Dubois, AJ, or you are a bad boy like Money Mayweather, Adrian Broner. That's it. In between that, you have men who make money, but they don't have no real character. As much as I hate to say it, Crawford. Now imagine if Crawford was promoting all this gangster shit. He'd be the biggest thing on planet Earth. They only let them man go when they promote certain things. When they don't promote certain things, they are completely blocked out. Andre Ward, Shakur Stevenson. We can go on and on and on. There's a beggar man's because they're not going crazy outside of the ring, talking all kind of trash. They don't get the bringing. These are facts, folks. And that's why Floyd had to do what Floyd had to do. Aisha. Yes, Ari, what you say? Not noble. There's technicals, you know, because Skype, there's some problems with Skype. So I'm on my own, Ari. But it's all good, man. And you know I got this thing. Aisha, sad to lose his son, but don't forget, Senior abandoned his first son, so he's not the perfect father. I hate to say it, you know, but it's fact. Aisha, I can tell you're one of them old schools, you know. I know you're young, but I can tell them old schools raised you. I can tell because you always come with the facts, and facts don't have emotions. And it's the truth. People, he did abandon a son, and the son that he abandoned, folks, happened to be the full black one. I gotta keep this thing 1,000. He abandoned him. You know, it was a fling, and the youth was born, and he didn't grow up with his dad or none of that. He only reconciled with them later on when Junior was pro. So you're right, he's not a perfect father. Weston, big facts. The fact that his ex-wife and mother to his children hasn't stepped up to getting some help speaks volumes. All right, you've heard it right there. You've said it, Weston. A lot of these man, not just him, Frank Bruno's another one. These man, when they're up, let's keep it real, when they're up, they give away a lot of their wealth to other communities. And in times of like this, okay, let me give you an example. So if you're on social media and you follow like any of them shade rooms and any of that, they were showing Kodak Black and an elder. There was a big woman talking to Kodak Black, like saying, yo, son, you need to do better, man, and hold up your head and, you know, talking life into the brother. And I'm going to keep it real with you. That's all I've ever known. The black woman, and I'm not pandering in any way or simping in any way. I'm just telling you facts. The black woman's always spoke life into me. Do you know what I mean? Always. The black woman has always spoke life, even if it isn't family. The black woman has always spoke life into man, told man to hold his head up high. You know, all kind of, I just couldn't talk down on them like that. I just couldn't, because that's always been that for me, which is why if it comes to any kind of reproducing situation or weddings or anything like that, it's going to be a sister. You know what I mean? Because they will always reset you and check you, when the right ones will always be an what's the word? An asset to your journey. That's a fact. But with these man, they didn't get that memo. So what they did is, when they got to this money, they gave it all away. And I remember he proposed to her in the ring. He proposed to the woman. This is Junior's mom. He proposed to her in the actual ring. And when he's proposed to her now, and years down the line, you look now where he's at and what's going on, you can kind of see what it is that men are saying. You know, these guys give a lot of wealth away. And when their head goes and stuff, like Bruno, I remember always hearing the bars, like a man, I used to hear the bars when I was in the shop. They used to say, the money went on Friday, and by the Monday, she put in for a divorce. And then my man went funny, and he's never been the same. He's never been. Bruno was a perfect example of a BFG. He never went the same. So it's like, you're renting it. You're renting that pink. It don't belong to nobody. You're renting it. You're getting a time with it. And if you can't keep up the payments, bro, then it's a madness. And it doesn't matter if you got children or any of that. Let me get back to the chat. About Noble, damn. Real talk, Mark. If you're still going in an hour, I'll call in. Yeah, Harry, call in. Call my phone, though. Yeah, call my phone, because it's something's mad with Skype. D42, I was wondering where Noble. Yeah, Noble sends his apologies, people. Yeah, his black son grew up in Croydon. He does boxing as well. I don't think he does anymore, D42. Saint, Aisha went into the history books. Saint, forgot about that son. Aisha, the ex-wife has moved on to a white man. She don't care. All right, let's stop right there. Facts. This is what I'm saying. Facts. A lot of these men get their wake-up call, their Love is Blind crew wake-up call. And when they get that, it's a bitter pill to swallow. Like I told you guys before, yeah, back in the day, there was this guy, I used to know this guy, and a black brother from Brum, slightly older than myself, but I used to see him all the time. Anyway, he was dating, no, not dating. He was married to an indigenous woman, and he had 3 children with her. They bought a house, they financed car. They used to go on holiday every year. And I remember me and him used to cross paths without me saying how we cross paths. And I always used to try and like I knew that he was dating indigenous, but I would try and talk certain, reason with him certain ways. You get what I'm saying, people? Like, you know when like a man, you're around a man and like a convo will come up and it might go into like a some sort of race debate about something. And people, I'm telling you the truth, he always used to remain neutral. Like he always used to say like nothing, like just if man was talking about something to do with our community, he'd make sure that he never really gave an opinion. And I remember used to thinking, brother, what's going on, man? Why don't you ever speak up for the man, them, like for the community? And you could tell that he was proper like uncomfortable talking about anything to do with like the community. Anyway, one day the girl had enough of him and he must have come home and she had took all her stuff, took the children and everything and gone. And she said she wanted half of the profit of, she wanted half of the house, and she wanted to take him to CSA to pay for the children. Now he told me, I don't know how true it is, but he told me that he lost a family member and he was struggling to get back to normal life after losing similar to what's happening with Junior, with Senior. Now he said to me that the woman was unwilling to work with him to get him back to premium health, back to premium mental health. She was unwilling to work with him, so she rather just quit. She didn't want to work through nothing. She rather just quit. Anyway, once she quit, she left him upside down his whole life, people. He had to get rid of the house. He had to go on to the council. He ended up losing his job. His mental health was shot to pieces. Anyway, I lost contact with him for maybe a few months. Then I seen him. When I've seen him now, He's got this massive beard, people, massive. And like, he's trying to reason with me and that. I swear down, he was even saying people like, yo, bring me on the show, man. I want to burn out them people there. And I'm looking at this brother people and I'm like,
get the fuck out of here, man. Please, get the fuck out of here, man.
I'm looking at him and I'm like, bro, no, no. Because when I was trying to talk to you before, you didn't want to know nothing. Now all of a sudden that the girls kick you to the curb now it's some pump your black fist business. No.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Please.
No.
Please, get the fuck out of here, man.
And a lot of men don't like hearing that. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's get into this, man. Zulia, big up, man. Yes, Harry, yeah. Marry me. Remember that? Yeah, man. D42. They buy into the media programming that indigenous or lighter skinned is better. Facts. Renting the pink. Zulia, I'm giving you the facts. Man are renting it. I say it to all these brothers. Listen, I got a friend. Indigenous girl, you know, people. Indigenous girl. I've asked her to come on the show still, but she ain't on it. She ain't on the public debate, but me and her, we go hard with this indigenous talk because she's got youths for a black man still. They're not together, but she's got youths for a black man. Listen, she's cold as ice. She can walk away from anything in 5 seconds flat. You see what I mean? So for any of them, man, I'm just making you know, if you, man, are soft or you ain't got your thing together, they're different and they can walk away from anything in 5 seconds flat. Harry, every time he's on my TV, mom quotes that proposal. Yeah, big up mommy, man, real talk. Saying, conclusion leads to pain, clarity brings peace. These are, we got some real quotes in the chat today, you know. Noble, you see what you're missing? Western, Karen and the Kid Syndrome, facts. Zulia, J. Lloyd the footballer, couldn't keep up the payments. A lot of men can't keep up the payments. I know a few men who couldn't keep up the payments. And once men can't keep up the payments, bye. That's it. Bye. Your mental health's gone. So bye. You're broke. So bye, CSA. Find it. It's F you pay me. And when the man get that wake up call, it's crazy.